Hello and welcome to the Mormon Yeshiva. This is a second part in our series, Names Mean Things. This particular presentation is entitled Lachoneus and the Book of Mormon is False. Again, please make note of our fair use disclaimer, and please understand that this purpose of this presentation is for educational purposes only, and I hope that you'll take it in the spirit which it is meant. In 3 Nephi 1:1, we are introduced to a character by the name of Lachoneus. Now it came to pass that the 91st year had passed away, and it was 600 years from the time that Lehi left Jerusalem. And it was in the year that Lachoneus was the chief judge and the governor of the land. The usage of the name Lachoneus appears to be the usage of a Greek name meaning Laconian or someone from Laconia in the Mediterranean, the famous home of the Spartans. This appears to be a major faux pas on the part of Joseph Smith in translating the Book of Mormon. Why would Greek be found or used in an ancient Israelite record? Well, according to one young man who was contacting me, it therefore must be made up. Why would they use a Greek word? How would a Greek name have made it into the Nephite society? Well, as we've discussed in other slides and other presentations, throughout the Book of Mormon, we see the usage of Hebrew word constructs. This same usage is seen in the name Lachoneus. Actually, Lachoneus. It's a Hebrew word construct. Lecha is actually a town, meaning journey, and of course, after the famous Torah portion, Lech Lecha, Lech meaning to go or leave. Nous means to flee or escape. So if we put the meaning together, it's a journey of flight or escape, or get up and leave, flee. And we get the idea of Lech Lecha from the Torah portion in Genesis 12:1, where the Lord tells Abraham, now the Lord said to Abraham, get thee out of thy country, and from thy kindred, and from thy father's house, into the land that I will show thee. Get thee out. In other words, lecha, which is where we get the Torah portion, lech lecha. The idea is escape, get out, leave. Now, why would this name be used this way? Well, many of the names in the Book of Mormon are more descriptive of function. In this case, let's take a look at the actual epic of how the name Lachoneus and his character was used and what was happening in this particular scene of the Book of Mormon. In 3 Nephi 3:1, it said, now it came to pass in the 16th year from the coming of Christ, Lachoneus, the governor of the land, received an epistle or a letter or communication from the leader and the governor of this band of robbers, i.e. the Gadianton robbers, and these were the words which are written. And of course it goes on to delineate a very long speech between the leader of the Gadianton robbers to Lachoneus, basically saying that they were going to come down and destroy them and wipe them out unless they joined them. In this case, this is the backdrop behind the scene with the character of Lachoneus. In other words, the Gadianton robbers are threatening an imminent attack and threatening to wipe them off the land unless they are joined. Let's take a look here what he also says. Now, in verse 12, it says this, now behold, this Lachoneus, the governor, was a just man, and could not be frightened by the demands and the threatenings of a robber. Therefore he did not hearken to the epistle of Gadianton, the governor of the robbers, but he did cause that his people should cry unto the Lord for strength against the time that the robbers should come down against them. Notice what he does. Yes, he sent a proclamation among all the people that they should gather together their women and their children and their flocks and their herds and all their substance, save it were their land, unto one place. And he caused the fortifications should be built round about them, and the strength thereof should be exceedingly great. And he caused that armies, both of the Nephites and of the Lamanites, or all of them who were numbered among the Nephites should be placed as guards round about to watch them, and to guard them from the robbers day and night. Then it goes on to verse 22. And it came to pass in the 17th year, in the latter end of the year, the proclamation of Lachoneus had gone forth throughout all the land. And they had taken their horses and their chariots and their cattle and all their flocks and their herds and their grains and all their substance, and did march forth by their thousands and by tens of thousands, until they had all gone forth unto the place which had been appointed that they should gather themselves to defend themselves against their enemies. In this sense, we begin to see behind the backdrop of the Book of Mormon, his name, Lecha, Lech, journey, leave, nous, escape. In other words, is this really his name? Well, whether it is or not, we will never know for 100% certain. But what we do know is that his name prophetically describes the events that were going on. In other words, he sent out a communication to all the Nephites and Lamanites to basically leave or take a journey or flee, escape from where they're at from Gadianton robbers, and gather to the center portions of the land. So the idea is that basically Lachoneus is not really a Greek word at all. It's actually a Hebrew word construct, basically telling the people to, describing the actions of the people and what was going on. It's a journey of escape, a flight, like Abraham fleeing out of his country and coming over, and crossing over. So names mean things. So in this case, Lachoneus, Lachoneus, in the Book of Mormon, is actually a Hebrew word construct. And so now we realize it has a lot less to do with the Greek island and more to do with the description of what was going on, and is all part and built in part of a very intricate narrative. There are also other meanings to this name that give detailed insight into the prophetic aspects of the Book of Mormon. But for now, we will leave it at this. So thank you, and I hope you've enjoyed this presentation.